up, everyone? I'm out here today for a solo ride over at the south end of the 4 Point. Checking out some of these ATV trails. Seeing how the bike reacts on this rockier stuff. Over here gets definitely a lot rockier, a little more technical, and a lot more water holes. So even though these are nice open trails, you really can't ride them wide open because how rocky they are. And you gotta be really smart with your line choice. And don't trust a single water hole, because everyone here loves to bog. So every water hole that doesn't look deep is probably really deep. And we just got a crap ton of rain this past week. So the water holes are probably extra full. I didn't come riding yesterday for that reason, because it rained so hard. And I knew the trails would be a mess. Man, this lighting is hard to see all these rocks. They're hiding in the shadows. You see some fresh ATV tracks, so maybe a little cautious of that. Straight edge rocks you got to be careful of. They can kick your wheel out on you so quick. This area of trail, not this specific trail, but one over that way more. I broke my knee on by a rock deflecting my front tire in a rut. So we ain't doing that today. We're taking it easy. And it's a good thing I waited till today, because you can see how full these water holes were. And these are the small water holes for out here. ahead. For a blue trail, this is a very technical blue trail for Ontario's rating. I think the trail I broke my knee on was a black rated trail, and it definitely wasn't this technical. But I gotta say, the newer suspension on these bikes handle these bumps so well. I didn't think I'd be able to hit some of this. Like if I hit some of this stuff the way I have on this bike, if I hit, oh, sorry people, can't talk. If I was to hit some of these rocks the way I have today on this YZ125X, on my WR250 07, I would not be able to survive that. I'd be on the ground already. And I'm not even trying to ride hard right now, because I personally have never ridden this trail. So, I don't know how gnarly it actually is, right? So, you're seeing my first time through the trail. But what a cool trail. Yeah, see here, this is what the ATVers do. They go make mud bogs off the side of the trail. I'm all for ATV guys having fun in the mud. We've all been there. But you gotta respect the trails and stay on the trail. Making side mud holes like that isn't a good look for the community. Looking back at that to make sure I can get back across that same line. That's the only good line. And the fun part about riding these trails on a moto is that ATVers are obviously not riding this pace. It's way too rocky. Like maybe side-by-side guys, if they had one of the higher end ones, they could ride at a pretty good pace. So like all the bumps and stuff on these trails are made from a different speed. So they create a lot more knife edge bumps, and they dig into the rocks, into the cracks in between the rocks a lot more, exposing a lot more knife edge rocks. Believe get out? Yeah. That was a fun little step down off the rock. Holy though. This is the rock garden trail. That's what I'm calling it. The rock garden trail. That's literally all this trail is. It's nothing but a rock garden. You get 2 seconds of nice dirt to take a breather, and then you're back into another rock garden. And I still have not gotten my worst connection lowering foot peg. So bike is still in completely stock form from the factory. Have not changed a thing on this 2026 YZ125X. Just enjoying it how it is. Very thankful my dealer was able to jet this bike for me, so I don't have to worry about it, because it's been perfect. No issues, no hiccups. I don't know. Is here riding with someone? Sure. Not today alone. We'll just continue this way. It looks like just a side piece. And I'm purposely kind of not worrying about picking the best lines right now, because I just want to test the suspension. This is my first time riding this bike on this rocky knife edge stuff. And I just want to learn how it feels. I swear I hear something. I wonder if I'm coming across. If I'm catching up to a quad. But anyways, trying to learn how the bike feels in the corners. Weird bumps like that. And then just like hitting things straight on too. Because once you start riding that pace, you will definitely not be able to always pick that perfect smooth line. You're going to be riding bad sections just because you're carrying so much speed. You can't slow down per se all the time. Just pick that perfectly smooth line. That's why you pick out, you gotta look ahead, pick out where you want to go, and then stick with that choice. Pick out the best section out of everything. See a rougher section up ahead, it's okay to hit the kind of okay section to get through to that better, smoother section where otherwise you'd be hitting a really rough section. Fuck, I'm having a lot of fun on this trail though. I hope this is exciting for you guys. I hope you like the camera angle. The hard part always with the camera angle, I put it under my visor. So it's out of your view sight. Like it dingles your peripheral slightly. But I don't like the chin mount because I find that blocks my view more. Just the way my helmet sits and everything. I have no idea what gear I'm in. I'm just riding at a pace that I feel comfortable. I kind of have an idea where this leads, but I don't know exactly. But theoretically, should come to a dirt road. And I'm just gonna ride until then. And hopefully we don't run out of gas. So I think the likelihood of actually coming across someone on this trail is pretty slim. So what I'm noticing with this suspension versus my WR or like an older bike, it takes the initial hit a lot better. So when you're coming into something and you know you're just gonna hit it and not get the front end lighter over it or nothing like that, it actually will take that hit instead of deflecting. And that was kind of my biggest complaint with my WR. And it was more so tire choice, I realized, but I was kind of backed into the corner in the moment because the only good tire that I like for street legal purposes, like it being a DOT tire, it had a very small sidewall. So it wouldn't handle the hits good. But like also, even with a good tire on that bike, It doesn't handle this good, man. I've made like 5 flicker changes. Oh, that was a lot deeper than I thought. I've made like 5 flicker changes since from factory settings. I've sped up the front a little bit, and I've softened the rear and slowed it down slightly, because I'm not the heaviest rider. Oh, that was soft. I hope I can find my way back. And as far as maintenance wise, what I've done is oil changes, run the gas at my run the gas that my dealer recommended. But only 91 octane, and AM's oil saver oil at a 60-to-1 ratio. I'm finally getting used to these brakes. Or they're just braking in more, but I can actually use them and trust them. See another set of motor tire tracks right here. Fresh ones. Man, this sunlight's really hiding some of these bigger rocks. Looked like he went in there, or he just turned around there. Maybe that's what he did. don't think we made it that far. Maybe we have. This looks like a big water hole. Yeah, this is where we're gonna call it. We're gonna ride back now. Hit the other way, this way. But you do gotta still be careful, because your ego can kind of get you. And that's what happened when I broke my knee. I thought I knew what I was riding, going the other way, and it turns out I didn't. And I paid the hard price of it. And I'm still paying the hard price of it. So although you'd like to see me ride a little faster back out, I'm still going to take my time. A little too much front brake on this slippery rock. See, that's another example. Get you ATVs want to have some fun in the mud. Time and place. Fun section of the trail. Sorry for the lack of talking. Just trying to really watch for my lines, because I am riding a little faster now. And just want to learn how this bike reacts more. But man, it really does just feel like a mountain bike with an engine. Not one of your cheap like bolt-on, that's not what I mean. Like one of your high-end mountain bikes that instead of having to go down mountain to ride it properly, or without pedaling at good speed, that's what this is. So playful. See, that's a moment there, like fuck. Being too comfortable. Let's go look at it. Look at that. Angled, straight edged. Wow. And right into all this. I think that's why I'm trying to back me down a little. We're getting a little too comfy. We don't know this trail good enough. So even though I'm riding the section that I just rode, I just see my tire tracks. That's all I'm gauging on. I'm keeping an eye on my old tire tracks from going the other way. And watching for the smooth line, whether it be the line that I took last time or a different line that's close to it. Rock garden, major rock garden of the trail. Now we gotta be extra vigilant. That was a perfect snare to see how nimble this bike was. Backward gets really rocky. And yes, I know I can downshift. Make the front end a little more light. But again, I'm learning this bike still. Being in the right gear at the right moment is not the hardest part of riding. The technique and knowing what your bike will do is. And it's amazing how well I'm learning this bike. I didn't think I would. be careful in here. One of my biggest problems from growing up mountain biking and stuff mostly, more than dirt bikes, that you ride at a slower pace. So coming in dirt biking, you gotta retrain yourself how far ahead you want to look. Wow, that was a cool section. Gonna need to check my spoke tension again after this ride. Ah, that was way softer and deeper than I was hoping for. That got really good. Knocked it into neutral in the middle of that by accident. Is that my GoPro turning off? It better still be recording. I hope you guys are still with us. Whoa, again. Another straight edge one. That one got me good. section, holy, we're definitely on my edge, the edge of comfort there. There's a few moments. There's a few moments in those corners where I caught a couple knife edges. The back end kicked a little. But thank you everyone for tuning in to today's ride. I hope you all enjoyed. And we'll see you on the next adventure.